This is why Charlie Kirk dominates debates, because when this liberal brought up systemic problems, he was silenced by one devastating question.
All right, you seem pretty educated on foreign and domestic policies. I'll try not to. You seem pretty educated on foreign and domestic policies. What's your take on rectifying the homeless crisis in L.A. as far as it goes with Karen Bass and Governor Newsom coming from, San Francisco and such? What can we do moving forward? Is DEI the next way to fix these programs, allocating these funds, figuring out what the council members are doing? Where should we go with this? What's the next step for Californians and locals?
It's very simple. When Xi Jinping visited San Francisco, all the streets were cleaned up and it looked like Singapore and there were no more homeless. We can solve the homelessness problem overnight.
That's correct.
If we choose to do it. But your leaders are choosing not to clean up the streets. It takes the will. Every homeless person should be given a place in a shelter, should be given 3 meals a day. They should be given a shower, but they should never be given license to stay on the streets. The streets are not their home. You clean up the streets and you give them the help they need. Period. End of story.
Another big YouTuber, Channel 5, Brandon Cunningham, does a lot of hit pieces on San Francisco's homelessness crisis and how bad the issue is. There's a lot of programs that don't work because it's enforced by the city. They hand out needles, they hand out kits.
Correct.
So what can you do to stop that? That's obviously
Stop
for the
electing
harm.
Democrats.
Yeah. So this local election, right? For the local election, a lot of people didn't turn out for the election. How can we increase the voter turnout to change those?
I mean, it's as insofar that people want to keep on living in this hellscape, then you will.
Yeah.
But you do not have to have the homelessness problem. You do not have to have the crime problem. It is a casualty of choice. It is a choice to have the streets the way they are. And as long as people don't show up, I guess they don't care enough.
Hey, we had a conversation earlier.
Make it quick because I don't like to do repeats. But
well, absolutely. Well, I'm talking about a different topic this time. You made some interesting points. You made some interesting points about the crime statistics in the African American community. You think crime and poverty are intrinsically linked?
Not always, but they could be directionally close to each other. For example, poor Asians are not necessarily more likely to commit crimes than a poor black person.
Okay. Do you think there's systematic functions in place that prevent African Americans from moving upward?
No, does not exist.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think they've ever enforced any policies or any actions?
Maybe 40 or 50 years ago, but nothing in our lifetime, not even close.
I would say in our lifetime, right? Within our
That's a big deal,
our last
right?
20 decades, our last 2 decades, right? We've had a lot of opportunities for upper mobility, right?
And for whatever reason,
but at a systemic
it hasn't
level,
worked.
But at a systemic level, there's a history of prejudice within the American system against African Americans and black people.
But there's also historic systemic bias against Asian Americans and Jews. It hasn't held them back.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about them.
No,
right?
but it's important to compare. Why is it that it held blacks back but not Asians or Jews?
So I'll answer that. So Jews, well, let me speak about Asians. As a model minority, right, they've had more opportunities for upper mobility.
How?
Well, in terms of getting business loans, setting up in different neighborhoods.
Well, there was a lot more anti-Asian discrimination in California than anti-black discrimination in the 40s and 50s.
So you agree 100% that African Americans have been the same opportunities?
No, I'm not. Look,
as far as redlining goes,
groups are sometimes treated poorly. Whether or not you're able to overcome that is the question. Number 2.
So treated poorly doesn't cover it. I have a couple things. I have a couple lines, right? It doesn't cover it. I have a couple things. I have a couple lines right here. So we have the Tulsa Massacre of 1921, right?
Yeah,
where African Americans established a black.
Ago.
Well, they established a Black Wall Street, right? And that was taken down. We have the Black Panthers
how does that impact
in San Francisco.
How does that impact you?
I'm saying there's a history. I'm trying to establish a link here.
No, but I think, again, that you're trained to do this in the college. It has no bearing on whether or not you can make good decisions or not.
Well,
right?
College has no impetus on my thinking. This is
No, I know, but I reject the whole premise. You are not a creature or a victim of what happened 104 years ago.